Denise, Milwaukee Cuddles, and I'm going to answer the big question that so many people have. Is cuddling really platonic? Um, and the answer is yes. Um, but I'll expand on that a little bit. So uh, there is the idea that in a cuddle session, because we oftentimes do get very close, it really depends on the individual. I'm there to meet the needs of my clients within the boundaries that are part of my practice, but then also within the boundaries that we create and we're both comfortable with. But we get very close. There's spooning, there's full on hugging, there's, really maybe just full on embrace and laying with each other, I have a Thai massage mat, for example, or on a couch. And so, yes, it is very, very close. It is still platonic. And many people think that's a difficult thing to do, and it's actually not. And I think it's something that our society has not done a very good job of helping us to understand that we can have that type of touch, and it's actually really good to have that type of touch. It builds a greater sense of connection. When we're children, we get a lot of touch typically, hopefully, lots of cuddles, and that physical connection is there. But as we tend to grow, typically hit puberty, tends to back off, and that touch a lot of times isn't there as much for us until we start to date, and look at taking on partners. And then there's a lot going on in our bodies, and we tend to center more towards kind of that sexual idea of touch. And we oftentimes equate that if we have a partner, and we're touching them closely, that equals or it will progress to sex. And unfortunately, in relationships, sometimes that's really what, there's not much touching. Maybe you hold hands, but if it's beyond that, it's to lead to sex. And then we miss this whole great intimacy that can happen between people when we take the sex thing out of it. Yes, with your partner, of course, cuddling can lead to sex, and that's wonderful. But it shouldn't always, because there's great intimacy emotionally if we allow ourselves to platonically cuddle. And what we'll find, and this is what happens in cuddle sessions, is if you take away that goal of an orgasm, that goal of sexual pleasure, and we just say, I'm going to set that over here, that will not be happening. And so, why we're here today is to connect. That's what we're going to do. It can be revelatory for people who have never done that to go, oh, wait a minute. You mean for 30 minutes, an hour and a half, we're not only going to talk to each other, sit side by side, maybe hold hands, we may actually lay staring at each other and talking and looking in each other's eyes and sharing while we're touching. And the goal is not then to try to move to a sexual place. And then we can be a little more vulnerable, and we can be open, and we really can connect on a very deep level. And it is a wonderful bonding experience. And that's something that our society really hasn't taught us. It's really so important, in relationships to maintain that so that we have that touch, to connect us. Of course, the sexual side should be there, for most people who want to have sexual intimacy. That's beautiful. That's bonding. That's important. That, has many benefits to it. But to also be able to touch and connect without that goal is a different type of experience that is very human and very impactful. And that's one thing that you can learn through a cuddle session. I mean, they're not all like about vulnerability and, opening up. I'm not a therapist. I don't ask people to open up to me. They talk to me about what they talk to me about, but I will be present when they talk to me about those things. I will listen. Sometimes things are shared with me that people do not share with many other people, and they'll share those things that, we feel shameful about, or that we feel bad about. And the beautiful thing is I'm going to listen to you, and I'm going to accept you. And if it's something that we both want, I'm going to hold you. And you're also going to hold me. This is reciprocal. It's not just a one-way street. That's what makes cuddling very special, is unlike some um, modalities, maybe like massage, where it's simply receive touch, which is very important. But this is different because it is a fully reciprocal situation, a reciprocal type of connection. So, yes, it is platonic. And I will address some things that may come up in sessions because, yes, sometimes there's energy that will come up that's not platonic, and that's okay. We just redirect it. It's not a problem whatsoever. And it's just natural. I may talk a little bit more about that in another session, but bottom line is cuddle sessions are platonic. When you come to me, my services will be platonic. But of course, we will discuss, what that looks like between the two of us that fits within both of our comfort levels. You want to learn more? Go to MilwaukeeCuddles.com. And of course, contact me directly at MilwaukeeCuddles@gmail.com. You have a wonderful day, and sending you peaceful, cuddly thoughts.